Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is RED DISSECTION, breaking down Manchester United loss to Arsenal at Old Trafford on the weekend. Coming into the match, United honestly didn't have much to play for apart from pride and honour. And at least they gave a fight to Arsenal in this match. Obviously, there was severe lack of quality, especially in the forward areas. Except for Ahmad, who was exceptional, there was no danger to the Arsenal goal. In midfield, AMRABAT had a man of the match performance. He was probably two of the best players for both the teams on the pitch. And defensively, we made one big error, and that led to the first goal, the only goal of the match. To be fair, Arsenal were nervous. They were jittery. They didn't play like themselves. They were literally cruising in first gear. And honestly, they were fortunate to come away with a victory. I don't think they deserved the victory. Obviously, the defense has been stellar and was stellar even in this match. In terms of possession, it was an even contest. United slightly dominated the ball. They had most of the match in control apart from that one lapse of concentration from Casemiro and Johnny Evans. Also positional problem with DIALLO on the left-hand side that led to their first goal. Even Arsenal didn't create many opportunities. They had some counter-attacking opportunities, but they didn't fructify that. In terms of our own play, I think Garnacho wasted a lot of opportunities, good opportunities that could have led to shots on goal. He was really wasteful, really gate with his chances. The standout player for both the teams was Ahmad in terms of his technical ability, in terms of his control on the ball. Also, AMRABAT was judicious with the ball. In terms of his manifesto, his idea was to distribute the ball well, begin attacks as well as clean up mess in front of the two center defenders, and I think he did it well. It comes as no surprise when the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Rashford aren't playing that we are able to keep the ball much more ball secure. Of course, Bruno Fernandes is somebody who can play those through passes, even though his consistency isn't that great, and that is what we lacked in this match. We lacked the final ball. We lacked that little bit of composure and quality in the box. That's why we didn't create any kind of clear-cut opportunities. And Arsenal were comfortable. Gabriel and Saliba had a great game again. They were never under any kind of consistent attack from us. I'm sure it was one of the easiest games for the defense, for the Arsenal defense, in terms of lack of threatening attacks we had against them. Coming to player ratings, Onana had a decent game. He made a couple of good saves, easy saves to be honest. Obviously, on the goal, he was partly to blame with his horrible kicking, but in terms of save, he had no opportunity there. Overall, a decent game for Onana. Aaron Bissaka was back on his favored right-hand position, or the right side of the defense, and defensively, he had no trouble against TROSSARD, apart from one slip-up where TROSSARD had a shot on goal which Onana saved. Attacking-wise, he doesn't contribute anything. But at least with Ahmad, that side wasn't leaking chances, and that side was, ball secure. And even though we didn't create too many opportunities, at least we didn't concede too many turnovers from that side. Casemiro, lack of concentration, that led to the first goal. He had to push up. He had to be quick about it. He didn't do it. He was lazy, lackadaisical, whatever you want to call that. I think it is his mindset. I think he's just given up on Eric Ten Hag, and I'm sure he knows that he'll be out of the club next season. And his game has been littered with that kind of mishaps recently. So apart from that, I thought his use of the ball was good. He was in trouble with Havertz or any of the attackers as well. So overall, a decent game apart from that big mistake. Johnny Evans again was involved in that first goal. He had to push up to Havertz, had to obstruct him. He let him waltz into the box and then didn't even block that simple square ball that he gave to Trossard. So a bad mistake from that. Apart from that, he dominated Havertz in the air and didn't have too many threats from Arsenal's side. Arsenal's forwards didn't have a good game. They weren't too bright all over the pitch. So I thought Evans had a decent game apart from that one mistake. DIALLO had an excellent game. I thought he kept Bukayo Saka in his pocket, had him chase after him the other way around. Attacking wise, he was judicious with the ball, made some good runs into midfield, inverted, but lacked that final ball, which rest of the players also were in the same boat. So he wasn't standout in terms of that. Overall, decent game from DIALLO. Coming to midfield, AMRABAT was one of the two candidates for man of the match. Easily our best midfielder, easily one of the better players in terms of possession, the composure on the ball. He had awareness of his defensive duties, made some last-ditch tackles, which were very clever. Did a good job on Odegaard. Odegaard was largely quiet all throughout the match, and AMRABAT had a lot to do with that. Overall, it's not rocket science playing a defensive sweeper like him, defensive midfielder in his position. And you see a performance like that, I think Erik Ten Hag needs to continue with him till the final. Kobe Mano had some moments, but overall, again, a quiet game from him. He just doesn't seem ready in terms of tactical awareness, his understanding of the game. He still lacks a lot of things, and I think it's just down to inexperience. And I think even next season he shouldn't be a starter directly. I think he should be eased into the first team, given remote opportunities rather than playing him consistently, because his game has certainly nosedive recently. Ahmad was the best player on the pitch by far. His technical ability, his ability to be composed on the ball, not rush into Hollywood balls over the defense. Even his switch of play was good. What he lacked was a clear opportunity, which he didn't get. Obviously, he had a knock on his knees in the first half, which he ran off. In the second half, you could see that he was succumbing to that. Hopefully, it's not a big injury and he plays against Newcastle and the rest of the match before the season ends. McTominay was abysmal. He was playing that number 10 position. Apart from his physicality, he doesn't offer anything. On the ball, he's horrendous. Off the ball, in terms of his awareness of the opposition players, he's also horrendous. He just looks clueless, and Erik Ten Hag usually hangs his hat on a player like him to get that odd goal. It's too much to ask, and the return is too less. What he doesn't give us is a lot more pernicious than what he actually gives us. So I just don't see this experiment lasting beyond this season. Garnacho had a lot of good opportunities, especially in the second half. Most of our attack after Ahmad went out was coming through his end. He had the never say die attitude, had lots of running in, gave Ben White a lot of trouble. But what he didn't have is quality on the ball, composure in the box. Time and again, he was wasting opportunities, good opportunities, having runs one on one with the defender. Even even against the keeper, he never looked like he had the ball under control. He never looked like he had situation under the control, and the lack of shots on goal against Raya is a clear indication of the lack of quality he showed in the final action and the final phase of our attacking play. Overall, a disappointing match from Garnacho. Højlund was again interested more in wrestling than actually playing football. He doesn't use his biggest asset, which is his pace, at all. He's more involved in one-on-one tussle with the defenders. And Saliba and Gabriel had an easy game against him. Holland wasn't involved in any of our attacking play, was really quiet, and another abysmal performance from Holland. Coming to substitutions, obviously Anthony came in for Ahmad, had one good shot, I think one good run, but apart from that, he wasn't involved. It's not a type of game that suits Anthony, because he doesn't have the pace to provide us that spur in the counter-attacking phases, and that is what was the pattern after Ahmad went off, that we lacked the kind of thrust on the right-hand side, and certainly a disappointing performance for Anthony. Komwala came in for Johnny Evans. It didn't have much to contest against. I mean, they weren't creating any opportunities, Arsenal, and they were nervous on the ball and they were giving away the ball. We had most of the ball in that phase, especially in the second half. No errors from his side. He was strong against Howard, so a decent game from Komwala. Eriksson came on in late, really not required at all, because he didn't do anything coming in 87th minute for AMRABAT. So AMRABAT had the midfield under lockdown. He had Rice and Odegaard under lockdown. We lost that thirst that we had. We lost that control over the game, and we hardly created anything after that. So a disappointing performance from Eriksson. Hosen, again, nothing to tell you about. No impact on the game. We know that he's not ready for this stage, for this level of football, especially against a top side like Arsenal. He wasn't involved. I wouldn't be too harsh on him, because we can't expect too much from a player like him in this situation, which is a tough situation. So a decent score for him. Wheatley again was on the graveyard shift, had no service, only scraps to feed on, no clear-cut opportunities, no through ball to run onto. Like, really disappointing, especially with the wingers, Anthony and especially Garnacho, really not looking up for this striker. Nacho is really not interested in any other football on the pitch, not even his teammates. He just runs into the players, runs into the keeper, runs into the ground. He does try, but his severe lack of quality and severe lack of awareness of other players and his own teammates is an impediment. And with the likes of Garnacho and Anthony, Wheatley didn't have any chance. Coming to the manager, this is embarrassing. Not particularly in this match, but what he's been doing for the last few months, because we haven't had players to play his kind of football, so to speak, if you go by his words. Then play a defensive formation. Play somebody like Amrabat in a defensive midfielder position with that pivot, and provide cover for Menu, and Let the forward players who aren't even creating anything, even when they are more in numbers, let them feed on scrap. Let them toil for whatever chance they get. But at least defensively, be secure, be organized, be coherent. And we saw that in this match. It just leaves a lot more questions than answers. Why hasn't he done this? And why have we been so open and porous against the likes of Crystal Palace, Brentford, Chelsea, when we could have easily, hunker down in that midfield and let the forwards do what they can do on the counter attack? So embarrassing situation for Erik Ten Hag, and another exposition of his lack of awareness, lack of his knowledge of his own players and his talent ID. He's been horrific, and he needs to go. The season cannot end soon for us. The fans have suffered a lot this season, and we have another match against Newcastle. They are above us, 3 points clear of us. Even Chelsea are 3 point clear. I think we're not going to finish above eighth, and I think Newcastle can certainly make sure that we don't when they play against us on Wednesday. I can see Newcastle running away with it. I think if we concede an early goal, it could be an avalanche of goals because Newcastle don't really close up shop with the wingers and forwards who've got plenty of pace, great goal scoring form. I can see us being completely demolished at Old Trafford. It'll be our last home match. Uh, so I expect players to show up, especially playing defensively like we did against Arsenal. But sadly, I cannot see us winning, especially if Ahmad is not present for that match. I can easily see us losing that match by a couple of goals easily. To be honest, the only match that is important right now is the FA Cup final. I don't expect too much from that match. Also, even if the players come back, the players like Lisandro, Bruno, they won't be match fit, and they'll have a ready excuse for that. And I don't expect much from the team in that final. Probably Manchester City would have done the quadrupede by then. I think they'll go hard against us, and they'll definitely try to embarrass us against in the final. And he'll add one more string to the bow of Erik Ten Hag and his abysmal performance as the Manchester United manager. To be honest, I wanted him gone after the 7-0 victory. He had no ownership. He didn't take any accountability for the result. I knew even then that he's somebody who will jump on any kind of excuse just to avoid accountability. And that was an embarrassing result. And ever since then, we have been an embarrassment to the club, to the badge, and to the fans. I think the club doesn't deserve the fans we have, who have been loyal, who have been fully supportive of the players, even though they're not playing for them. They're not playing for the club. They're not playing for the badge. They're not playing for the honor of this great institution that is Manchester United. I think the manager and the players have to pay the cost for this. They have to face the brunt of all the blame, and I think the accountability needs to start from them. And if Jim Glazer and his coterie is serious about anything, I think they have to start with sacking the manager even before the FA Cup final, which I don't expect. Certainly as soon as we are done with the FA Cup. Unfortunately, there won't be any coverage for the Newcastle game, but we'll be back with the Red Pep show for the Brighton match, the last match of this Premier League campaign. Please join us for that. Until then, take care, do good, pray for Palestinians, all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.